Welcome to the lesson on comparing fractions. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to compare like and unlike fractions.
I will finish reading the book faster than you.
No way. I read faster than you do.
Fine. It's 10:30 now. Let's see how many pages we can read by 12 noon.
Sure, no problem.
Yummy!
Be quiet, Jim.
What page are you on?
I'll tell you at the right time.
Hey, kids! It's too hot in the garden. Come on in.
Time's up, Jenny. Stop reading. Hold on to the page that you are on.
You too. I have finished reading 160 pages.
I have finished reading 3/5 of the book.
How many pages is 3/5 of the book?
More than the number of pages that you have read.
I don't believe you.
I also finished most of the biscuits in the packet. I had 8.
The competition was about reading fast and not eating fast. I need to find out how many pages 3/5 of a book are. I'm sure you're trying to fool me.
Let's go in. Mom is waiting for us.
What's the matter, Jenny? You look upset.
I read faster than her. That's why.
Aunt Grace, Jim read 3/5 of the book and I read 160 pages. Who has read more?
How many pages does the book have?
200.
3/5 of 200 pages is equal to 3/5 multiplied with 200, which is equal to 120.
So, I have read more pages than him. Yippee!
Yes, you have, Jenny. However, how would you compare the figures if you were to do it using fractions? Jim said he's read 3/5 of the book. Let me show you. 160 divided by 200 is equal to 4/5. So, Jenny, you have read 4/5 of the book.
So, 4/5 is greater than 3/5 because 4/5 of the book is 160 pages and 3/5 of the book is 120 pages.
Right again. Did you also notice that these two fractions have the same base or denominator?
Aren't these like fractions?
Clever boy! Fractions with the same denominator are called like fractions. For like fractions, the fraction with the greater numerator is greater. So, 4/5 is greater than 3/5.
So, for like fractions, we use the numerators to compare them.
Very good, Jenny. Not only have you read more than Jim, you have also learned how to compare like fractions.
I have 2, Mom. And don't forget, I ate more biscuits than her.
Cheer up, Jim. I have baked cakes for the two of you.
Yummy!
This looks so tempting.
Let's attack the cake.
Aunt Grace, the cake is delicious.
Mom, I had 6 pieces of the cake.
I had 4 pieces of the cake.
I ate more.
No way.
Did you all notice the number of pieces that I had divided your cakes into?
Mine had 8.
Mine had 6.
Jim, you had 6 out of 8 pieces. And Jenny, you had 4 out of 6 pieces of the cake.
Who ate more?
I ate more.
Let's find out who ate more by comparing the fractions 4 upon 6 and 6 upon 8.
How do we compare fractions that have different denominators?
Fractions that have different denominators
Are called unlike fractions.
Good going, Jim. In order to compare unlike fractions, we first convert them into equivalent fractions. By doing this, we can change the denominator of the fraction without actually changing its value. Let us find the equivalent fractions of 4 upon 6 and 6 upon 8. We get 16 upon 24 and 18 upon 24. Now, Jenny, how do we compare like fractions?
Since the numerator 18 is greater than the numerator 16, 18 upon 24 is greater than 16 upon 24.
And so, 6 upon 8 is greater than 4 upon 6. Yippee! I have eaten more than you. Ha ha!
Well, there is another way of comparing fractions. Would you like me to share that with you?
That would be great, Aunt Grace.
We can also compare unlike fractions by finding the common multiple of the denominators, in this case 6 and 8.
Mom, 6 times 8 is 48. So 48 is a common multiple of 6 and 8.
Aunt Grace, isn't 24 also a common multiple of 6 and 8?
You are both correct. Jenny, 24 is the least common multiple of 6 and 8. Since it is easier to work with smaller numbers, we take the LCM of the denominators of the unlike fractions. To get 24 as the denominator of the fraction 6 upon 8, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator of this fraction with 3.
We multiply 4 upon 6 by 4 upon 4 to get 16 upon 24.
Super! So, the unlike fractions 6 upon 8 and 4 upon 6 are converted into like fractions 18 upon 24 and 16 upon 24.
Since 18 is greater than 16, the fraction 18 upon 24 is greater than the fraction 16 upon 24.
And so the unlike fraction 6 upon 8 is greater than 4 upon 6. Yay! I ate more than Jenny.
Aunt Grace, had both of us eaten one piece of cake each, who would have eaten more?
That's simple. I would have eaten 1/8 of the cake and you 1/6. So we would have to convert 1 upon 6 and 1 upon 8 into equivalent fractions.
We know that the least common multiple of 6 and 8 is 24. Equivalent fractions of the unlike fractions 1 upon 6 and 1 upon 8 should have 24 as the denominator.
Multiply 1 upon 6 by 4 upon 4 and 1 upon 8 by 3 upon 3.
Okay, wise guy. Let me tell you an easy method of comparing unlike fractions that have a common numerator. If you need to compare two fractions that have the same numerator but different denominators, the fraction with the smaller denominator is greater of the two.
How is that possible?
Let me explain. The more the number of equal parts that the cake is divided into, the smaller would be each equal part B. So, the fraction with the smaller denominator would be greater than the fraction with the greater denominator.
Do you mean to say that 1/6 is greater than 1/8?
Perfect!
If we had eaten one piece each, I would have eaten more than you.
Okay, now let's not get into who did more than the other. Jenny, could you give me examples of such fractions?
Sure, 8 upon 18 is greater than 8 upon 21. And 41 upon 63 is greater than 41 upon 65.
Excellent! Jenny, your mother wants you back home.
All right. Thank you, Aunt Grace, for the delicious cake. It was a good learning experience too. Bye, Jim.
Bye, Jenny. Come again.
Congratulations! You have successfully completed this lesson. In this lesson, you learned to compare like and unlike fractions. Kate and Peter read a novel 250 pages long. Kate read 1/5 of the novel, while Peter read 100 pages. Who read more? Simplify the fraction 100 upon 250 to get 2 upon 5. Now we need to compare the like fractions 1 upon 5 and 2 upon 5. In like fractions, the fraction with a greater numerator is greater. So 2 upon 5 is greater than 1 upon 5. Therefore, Peter read more pages of the novel than Kate did. Anne and Bob were given one cake each of the same size. Anne ate 1/4 of the cake and Bob ate 2/5 of it. Who ate more cake? To find who ate more cake, we compare the two fractions. These fractions are unlike fractions because they have different denominators. First, we find the LCM of the denominators 4 and 5, which is 20. To get the denominator 20 for the fraction 1 upon 4, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator with 5. Similarly, to get the denominator 20 for the fraction 2 upon 5, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator with 4. This gives us two like fractions, 5 upon 20 and 8 upon 20. For the unlike fractions, 1 upon 4 and 2 upon 5. In like fractions, the fraction with the greater numerator is greater. Therefore, 8 upon 20 is greater than 5 upon 20. And so, 2 upon 5 is greater than 1 upon 4. So Bob ate more cake than Anne. Dennis exercised for 4/8 of an hour, while Ray exercised for 4/6 of an hour. Who exercised for a longer period of time? We need to compare the two fractions 4 upon 8 and 4 upon 6 to find who exercised for a longer duration. Both the fractions have the same numerator, that is 4. So the fraction with the smaller denominator is greater. Therefore, 4 upon 6 is greater than 4 upon 8. So between Dennis and Ray, Ray exercised for a longer period of time.